Alright, folks, we have a box here. So, what could be inside it? Computer parts? Oh, I think so. Hey, there we go. Yes, you read that right. SuperMicro. Device drivers for Windows and Linux. Wow. Interesting. Comes with the I/O shield. Some SATA cables. Excellent. I thought I'd have to buy the I/O shield separately, but it did come with one. Excellent. Didn't show it in the picture, so that's why. Yes, folks, I finally bought some server-grade equipment for my server. After these last two board failures of 2 gigabyte boards, gigabyte boards are normally pretty reliable. But it just goes to show that consumer boards, especially the budget-oriented ones like the ones I was using, aren't always built to the best of spec in the world, which means they die. It just happens. But a board like a SuperMicro board is designed to last a long time, so we're going to take a look at this board real quick. Let me get all this junk out of the way. CPUs and whatever. Use my Toy Story lamp, my Pixar lamp here. Toy Story, what the hell am I saying? So this is refurbished, completely refurbished board. Excellent. So, I'm going to unwrap it and we can take a look at it. Hold on a second. And here's the board, a SuperMicro board. This is an LGA 775 board. Has the same chipset as the Gigabyte G41M ES2L. It's a ICH7 based chipset. It's basically the same board for all intents and purposes, except that it's made by SuperMicro to a higher spec, and it has different parts and all that fun stuff. I think the highest this can take is 4 gigs. Actually, there is one big difference between the G41M board and this one. This one uses DDR3 memory, so it's a little bit different than what's used on the G41M ES2L board. That uses DDR2, so I can use cheaper memory on this board, which is good news. There's a chipset down there. It's got 4 SATA ports, same features as most of the other boards. It's got 2 PCI slots, an X1 and an X16. That X16 slot will be very useful for things like RAID cards. You don't necessarily have to use these for graphics cards. You can use these for things like RAID cards. That's probably what I'll end up putting in there eventually for drives that are over 3 terabytes. So, there you have it. So, it has an IDE channel as well, which I really needed for the DVD drive. Because I don't prefer to install Debian via a USB key. I've had issues with it in the past, and I just don't do it. So, here we have the socket. Let's make sure the pins aren't bent at all. Take this thing off. Looks pretty good to me. Yep, looks really good to me. So, see if I can get this stupid plastic thing off. Yeah, there we go. So, there you have it. Pretty typical motherboard. But made by SuperMicro. This is the first SuperMicro board I've ever had. So, this is pretty cool. It's got real PS2, VGA with onboard video, HDMI, which is surprising and won't be useful on a server at all, but nonetheless, it's there if I ever need it. SPDIF audio, optical audio, USB, Ethernet, sound. Sound will be disabled, obviously, because you don't need that on a server. So, I just need to get some DDR3 memory and stick it in there. I think I have about 4 gigs lying around somewhere, and I think 4 gigs might be the maximum this takes. I don't think it takes 8. It might unofficially take 8, but I think from what I read on the website, it only takes up to 4. So 4 is all I need anyway, because this is a file server. So there you have it. I'll get 4 gigs of RAM, stick it in there, and we'll run Debian with it. Okay, I went ahead and went upstairs and got some memory. It's just 4 gigs of this low-profile Kingston stuff. So cute. Look how tiny they are. So, stick these in the board here. Just like Bill the other day did. I'll do live RAM installation. Yay. Yep, that was exciting, wasn't it? Stick it in there and push down. There you go. There we are. 4 gigs of RAM for a file server. Now I just need to shut the server off and grab the CPU out of it. And the board, actually, as well. So, since this is just plain old Debian Linux, I can hit the power button and wait for it to shut off. See the hard drive light up a little bit there. Yeah, there she goes. So, I'll pull this out real quick. Here's the board that was in the server. It's this G41M ES2L revision 1.0, which has lasted longer than the newer revision one I had, since I didn't cheap out on the parts on this one as much. 2 gigs of RAM in there. Got the Celeron in here. I'm going to use this Celeron E5400 in the SuperMicro board as well. So I got to take this heatsink off and get in there. I'm going to use the heatsink as well, actually. So, hurrah! Let's do it. All right, I've gotten the Celeron out of the ES2L board. This is what we'll be using. The Celeron E3400, which is a Core 2 Duo based chip. It uses the Wolfdale core. So it's a good Celeron. It's not the crappy ones that were based off of Prescott chips and Northwoods and, you know, all the rest. So got that chip out of here. I put a Pentium dual core in here, and I'll end up sticking this board in my LAN party machine, just because it'll work. I also used a different mass cool cooler. This one is a sleeve bearing fan, so that you know, if it dies, it doesn't matter. If any of these mass cool coolers I want to die, it's this one first. So I put this mass cool long. It says long life bearing on the fan itself, but that's just a long life sleeve bearing. So put a cheap fan, put a cheap cooler on here for now. I'll let it die, then I'll put another one of these nice ones on there. But the nice one with the ball bearing fan is going in the server. So, hoorah! There we go. Everything's all fitted up and everything. Seems like a crime to put a Celeron in a SuperMicro board, but really that's all it's going to need. The hardest I really ever pushed this CPU is changing permissions in a directory, which does kind of hammer the processor. I found that out when I used that Prescott-based Celeron, that actually does take some CPU power to do on a large directory, especially an entire drive. So, I've got my 4 gigs of RAM in there. I don't think it's going to use that until I upgrade to Debian 7. Since Debian 6 that's on the SSD in this computer, in the server right now, is, you know, that thing. It has a 32-bit version of Debian on there. There we go. Found the words. So, there you have it. Got the CPU cooler and the CPU installed, and we'll just install this board and use it. Not much else to it. Just to recap, for those of you that haven't seen my server before, my file server, I use an Intel 40GB SSD as the boot drive. I have three 1TB drives in this particular server. I need to get more, or I need to either get more or get bigger drives. I'm erring on the side of getting some 2TB drives and sticking them in here because I need more space for backups. I'm using one of these AcBell power supplies, the AcBell API 4FS06. I don't know if that's an I or a 1. I can't tell. Either way, it's a 550-watt power supply. These things are commercial grade. They're fantastic. Luckily, thanks to Max Arcade, I know they actually exist now, so I'm definitely starting to use them quite a bit more. They're excellent power supplies. So, and for server use, they're top-notch. So, definitely doing that there. Got a DVD drive in there for reinstalling the OS, and diagnosis and stuff like that, which uses a really nice one of these sort of rounded IDE cables, which I really like, although this part's kind of flimsy, but it rounds it off so it's not a big ribbony mess in your computer, which I really like. So I'll put this board in there and we'll get the show going. Well, this is nice. The guy sent me the wrong I/O shield. Doesn't fit this board at all, as you can see here. Compare the ports. They don't match up at all. So, thanks eBay guy. I think the guy sent me the wrong accessory bag, because this is for an XP UP series motherboard, and I don't have that, so I'm pretty sure this guy sent me the wrong accessory bag, so I'm going to see if I can't get the right one from him before I go ahead and buy an I/O shield. So, I'll try it out. In the meantime, the where to plug in front panel connectors is not labeled at all, so I've gone and gotten the manual for this board. See if I can find the there we go. Always look in your manual for stuff like this. Your speakers need to shush. But that's the layout, so I'll plug everything in and it'll be good to go. Alright, got the whole thing installed here. Looking pretty good, although these cables are a gigantic mess. So I gotta clean that up eventually, but not right now because I'm lazy. So those are gonna stay a jumbled mess. But I got everything. The only thing that didn't work was the power LED connector, so I'm just gonna run it without the power LED because I just don't care. It's not worth making a cable for that to work. I can hear when it's turned on. So let's turn this on, plug it in, and configure the board so it starts up automatically. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, I got everything plugged in, got a keyboard and mouse hooked up. Got this monitor you guys seem to love so much, this Gateway Trinitron monitor. This is this VX7000. This was given to me by my friend Mike. Alright, let's turn this on, see if it works. I get no response out of it. Alright, nothing. Wonderful. I had the pin out for the front panel connectors backwards. Oopsie. So, let's try that again. There we go, now it starts up. I don't know why the hard drive light is just constantly on. Pressing delete on the keyboard here, so. Oh, that's why. Alright, we got a BIOS. Is the time right? Let's see, it's about almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, this time is a little bit off. I'll just make it 4 o'clock for the sake of easiness. It's not Saturday. It's the 5th. Alright. Now there we go. It's a SuperMicro C2G41. The BIOS from 2009. This is the Celeron I have in there. It's a 2.6 GHz E3400 dual core. Wait, physical count 1, logical count 2. It's not a hyper-threading CPU. This thing is drunk. There, I put 4 gigs of DDR3 memory in there. Very nice. Boot feature. Quiet boot. Disabled. Restore power on. Yep, power on. Power button function. 4 seconds override, I think, is what I want, so I'll do that. Alright, let me just tweak with these and see what I can do, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, I've adjusted the BIOS to my liking. I noticed that it was set to Pixie Boot first, for some reason, so I guess this board in its previous life, before it was refurbished, was probably used in a, was probably used for, on a remote server somehow. Yeah, it booted remotely. I wonder what that was all about. Maybe it was a workstation, I don't know, but, let's see what this does to the fan sounds. I set the fans at 50% so they don't blow as loud or blow as much. Alright, let's see if it boots Debian. I'm curious to see if it actually uses all 4 gigs in Debian 32-bit. I think it will. Yep. Let me log in here. Damn it. Alright, there we go. Start XFCE 4. Yep, boots and works perfectly. Let's see if it loaded all the mounts that it was supposed to. Storage. Indeed it did. Excellent. The board works fine. Excellent. Everything works the way it should. So, let me shut this down for now. Then I'll move it back up there and turn it back on again. So, successful upgrade to the server. I am very pleased with this. This SuperMicro board should last a long time and be a hell of a lot more durable than that little Gigabyte board was. As awesome as a board as that was, clearly the consumer boards don't always do as well for servers. But that board should have done fine. It didn't even get hot, so I don't know what its deal was. If any of you guys are curious about that board, I did send it out for RMA, and it got repaired. It's on its way back as we speak, so it'll be back soon, and maybe I'll find out what was wrong with it. I don't know. So, there you have it. So, yeah. Successful upgrade to his server. The only thing I have to figure out is the only thing I have to figure out is this accessory bag, because it's the wrong accessory bag. Wrong IO shield, wrong CD. I don't know what the guy was thinking. He must have been in a rush to get a bunch of stuff shipped out. So what I'm going to do there is see if the guy has the correct accessory bags on hand. And if he doesn't, I'll just buy an IO shield. They're insanely expensive for these boards. They're like, the one I found was like $25. So fork out a lot of money for a little piece of metal. So I'm going to try to get it from this guy first. If not, oh well, I'll fork over the dough, because I want my server. I don't want bugs and stuff getting in there. So there you have it, folks. That's another board upgrade to the server. Hopefully the last board upgrade I have to do for a couple of years, because that SuperMicro board better last a long time. I'll tell you that. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.